Since my last hunting video, and my last hunting video being a week-long camping and hunting mission right smack bang in the middle of this year's fallow buck rut, where I was lucky enough to shank a big mature fallow buck from a tree, I have done my fair share of hunting, and I've had a ton of fun doing it, but I haven't put a lot of animals on the ground. So I am going to rewind the clock back to a couple of hunting missions that I'd done just before my last video, and that was in a different public block which also harbours fallow deer. Now, I've hunted this particular block a lot, but I haven't hunted it much in the last year or two. So I just wanted to get back in there and do a scouting mission and kind of refamiliarise myself with the block. My main goal being to find some fallow buck sign that I could go back to in the peak of the roar. But I was on my way up the hill that morning. It had just got daylight and I run straight into a doe and her fawn, and the plan was to walk back the exact same way that I was walking up. So I thought to myself, if this doe gives you a good broadside shot, then take it, and we'll hang her up in the tree and pick her up on the way down. Me. Pretty sure I'm just about to go and blood track a big mature doe. Gonna whip the guts out of her, hang her up in the tree, and then carry on said scouting mission. Great way to start the day. That was the big tree that was blocking her vitals. And she walked around and threw up into here, and there's my arrow. I'm pretty sure the shot was good. That's what we all want to see. No blood on the ground though. There's blood the full length of the arrow. So yeah, this is a good one. Well, that is exactly what every bow hunter wants. A good blood trail that is not hard to follow, and you don't follow it for very long, and you got venison or pork or whatever it is that you are after. Big beautiful doe. Awesome. My partner Claire makes the most amazing nachos that you'll ever eat, but she's been buying beef mince from the stupid market to make it. So I said, as soon as does are back on the hit list, I'm going to get a big mature doe, take that to my mate Graham, turn it into mince, and then Claire can make even more amazing nachos. Venison nachos. Thank you very, very much, Mrs. Doe. You are very, very much appreciated, and I will utilize every little piece of you. You are awesome. Now, once I had that doe hanging up in a tree, I was back to the plan at hand. My plan for that day was to go from scrape to scrape to scrape. I had a number of scrapes marked on my GPS, and all I wanted to do was go to each scrape and have a look around the scrape and see if there was a suitable tree to tree hunt from, and then get as many of those scrapes with trees marked on my GPS. And then in the peak of the roar, I had this big elaborate plan of going from scrape to scrape to scrape, from tree to tree to tree, climbing up the tree, getting all set up, and then rattling antlers, sitting in the tree for half an hour or an hour after I'd rattled the antlers, seeing if a big mature buck come in, and if one didn't, get down and go to the next tree, and just keep repeating that process. And I figured that if I did that in a bunch of different trees over the peak of the roar, then surely I would get a shot at a big mature buck. I did that scouting mission mid-March, and I spent 2 days in that block hunting hardcore in the peak of the roar in the middle of April, And I was super excited to be walking into that block in the dark on the very first day, run into deer on the way up the hill, and I run into what I'm going to call a zombie deer. A fawn at some stage had broken its neck and somehow managed to survive. But anyway, if I'm to sum that very first day up as quick as I can, it was eventless. I went from scrape to scrape to scrape to scrape, and I never found any big buck sign that was less than a week old for a whole day of missioning around. And I only climbed the tree at the end of the day just so that I'd climbed the tree. And yeah, I walked down out of that block on that first day pretty disheartened, to then talk to a very good mate of mine, Tyler, who was hunting in the same block on the same day. And he's like, dude, I heard croaking out where I was. So plan was hatched to head back in there the second day with Tyler into the area where he heard the croaking and hope for the best. And I didn't take any tree gear. It was just a ground mission. Made it to the spot, and Tyler's bang on the money. We've already heard 3 croaks up here and no croaks until it started getting daylight. So we're just going to chill out here for a while. I'm going to rattle the antlers. Got a scrape just in front of us. Tyler had deer around here yesterday, so sit here till daylight, rattle, a little bit of croaking, and then from there, if all goes to plan, he's going to be croaking up there and we're on them. I got this stupid grin on my face. After yesterday, I was all a little bit disheartened and spoke to Tyler and I was like, complete change, bring it on. Well, other than being super excited when we heard those croaks this morning, today has been pretty like yesterday. It's been pretty, it's just not a lot happening. Can't find the sign, don't know where the croaking was come from. Tried to find it, couldn't find it. And yeah, did a few rattles here and there, but nothing really. Tyler's had to head off. He needed to get out of the block early. He had somewhere to be, so I've continued on. And no sooner had I split up from Tyler, I was just coming up the hill and heard a croak out this way, but the wind's was kind of going that way. So I just came charging through to here because I knew there was a big gut just here. And if I'm on this side of the gut, then I was hoping that my wind would drop into that gut, stay in the gut, and then drop down the hill. And if there was anything on that side of the gut, then I had a chance. So anyway, set everything up, was just about to rattle, look up, and there's a spiker standing on the other side of this little gut here. So I gave him a croak. And he just kept coming and kept coming and kept coming. I was trying to film arty-farty arrow shots for Cody, trying to go focusing from the TKO on the arrow through to the deer, and then focusing from the deer back to the arrow, and the arrow in focus with the deer walking behind it, and vice versa. And yeah, to cut a long story short, man, that buck just kept coming. He just kept coming until he was at like 4 meters. But he really didn't like the sound of my voice. Hello, little dude. You're lucky Tyler's not here, mate. He would have had you. So a bit of fun has been had. That was very cool. I've just had something to eat, so now I'm going to get up and head all the way to the far corner of the block. Last year there was some awesome ruts out that way, so I just want to go up there if they're fresh, hopefully. Yeah, do some rattling and hope that a big buck comes. Man, it's getting down to the wire and I haven't even seen a buck. I'm finally in the game. Game on. This is fresh as they were rutting here this morning. They won't be far away. Get the wind right, set up, get some rattling. Bring it on. 1 o'clock on day 2 and I finally found what I've been looking for. There is a huge fresh scrape right here at like 13, 14 meters. I've got scrapes marked on my GPS over this side. One's 130 meters this way. I've called that one Big Buck Turf. And there's another one 230 meters that way, and I called that one the Grand Master Buck Scrape. So they're just big holes. The wind is perfect. The wind's coming from the other 2 scrapes to me. The wind's kind of cutting this way, so downwind to me there's a big drop off and there's a heap of thick stuff. But one thing I've learned with rattling is be ready for the animal to be downwind of you, because they just literally run around you to get in behind you straight away. But yeah, gonna let out a rattle pretty soon. I might just chill out and try and calm down a bit because I'm a bit excited. That is dead fresh, dead fresh. I wish I'd come out this side of the block yesterday. This spot is super open and there's a heap of trees that are just tall, straight, with no branches. I could get like 6 or 7 meters off the ground here easy and still see for 30 or 40 meters. And the higher you are means that sometimes you get away with a bad wind. But today I've got a perfect wind. Oh, this could get real good. And I thought I went to a lot of trouble to hunt out of trees. Someone's gone to a lot more trouble than I ever would. Well, that is it. That is the best that I could do on this one. I found a scrape, and I'd pictured finding 10 scrapes in 2 days and climbing 10 different trees and rattling in a buck on one of those scrapes out of one of those trees and getting a shot at him. But it's hunting, right? Hunting's hunting, just like fishing is fishing. That right there is the buck that I got in the raw out of the tree. In the pickle, I have a big mature doe skin that myself and Howard acquired a couple of weeks back, and that hunt is coming up next on the Bolar Triangle. But before that, I got a little story. I love tree hunting, as you all know, but I don't tree hunt in the winter because it is incredibly hard to stay warm. It gets cold and I get bored and uncomfortable, and I found a solution. Check this out. That right there is an aviation suit that my stepfather John uses to keep warm when he is flying his microlight. So I did a little bit of, customization, because drawing the bow with those big scratchy sleeves makes a bit of noise, right? So I cut the sleeves off it, and with that thing I can stay warm in a tree in the middle of winter. Not only that, I can now, well not now, I wear a full balaclava plus a beanie to keep warm, but when I've done that in the past it covers your ears, and when you cover your ears you can't hear the deer coming. So I have a pair of earmuffs that you stick batteries in that actually increase your hearing, but they keep my ears warm as well. So now between that suit and those battery-powered earmuffs, I am now tree hunting in the middle of winter. I am warm. I am comfortable, making me excited as to be there. As promised, I'm going to wind back the clock and show you a previous hunt where that suit and those earmuffs were put to good use.
Too smart. Too smart. He's just jealous.
Jealous.
Look at those dry feet, mate. These dry feet, man. Look at that.
You right, mate?
She's a bit slippery, man.
Man down. That stuff just never gets old. I'm shaking like crazy. My heart is pounding. The deer was standing just through there for like, I don't know, a good couple of minutes. I couldn't even pick my bow up off the rack. I couldn't even like lift my bow up, as she would have seen that movement. And she was just picking up leaves off the ground there and eating them. And then 3 deer just filed through down here and ended up right down there. I can see my arrow sticking out of the ground. She was a near on vertical shot. But yeah, arrow has entered right where it should have, and the job is done. The deer only ran like 20 meters over there, and then I could just see it standing there, and it was looking around like it had no idea what happened, and then just fell over. This spot is super, super cool. Through there about, you can't see the tree that I used to hunt in, but through there's a tree, and I hunted out of that tree 3 or 4 times over the roar, and I had a shot at the buck that Howard named Scratch just here. And then Scratch, the buck, ran off down there, and I tracked him down that way and out this way, and learnt that there was a real mean game trail coming up through here. There's also a game trail coming down this way. Then there's a game trail coming up, sidling this hill, coming up around here, and pretty much, well, it comes right underneath my tree because that's where I shot the deer, and then goes off that way. But there's also 2 trails coming up out of here, and then coming across this little open piece. And this tree here is right smack bang in the middle of it. From that tree over there, I couldn't shoot this trail, I couldn't shoot that trail, all the ones sidling around the hill, but from this tree I can shoot all 4 of them. How I told you, I love my tree suit and my earmuffs. They have made hunting in winter doable. Even if it does look a little bit crazy. I gotta go find Howard though, because I'm supposed to meet Howard up here in like 45 minutes. And then the plan was, if neither of us had had a deer, we were going to continue on, and if one of us had a deer, then we were going to go and be butchers together. So I'll go find Howard, get out of this tree first, go find Howard, come back and sort out my deer. Yeah! Guessing I clipped the side of her backbone looking at that. And there isn't much of a blood trail for Howard. That's the deer centre screen right there. Could you not hear me going, me?
Nah.
No.
No, because I've been moving around, zipping up my jacket, because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
cold, mate.
I got a blood trail for you, man.
Oh, yes. What time of the day?
Only like 40 minutes ago.
I spooked it off goblin.
Nice.
Yes.
Good work, mate.
Look at this, man. The Nato snow tree hugging suit.
It's awesome, man. It makes tree hunting in the winter all possible. It is a
Looks like a dirty big long sleeping bag with a hood on it.
pretty much is a sleeping bag.
Yeah.
I reckon you wouldn't need a sleeping bag if you went into the bush with that.
And semi waterproof too, I take it.
Oh, I don't know about waterproof,
Yeah. It's definitely showerproof.
but it's
though.
warm.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted.
Cool.
All right, I'll just carry that stuff because it's not a very long blood trail, Howard.
I can imagine. Yes! Carnivores again.
All right, mate, get your nose to the ground,
My
mate.
nose to the ground.
There's blood right where the arrow is.
Right here, mate.
Yeah, man.
And you're standing on more. And there's more there.
I'm surprised you can't see the deer.
Okay. I'll trail it. We'll trail it.
You
mate.
trail it, mate.
Trail it. I can actually.
You can see it.
Yeah. Just the whiteness of it.
Yeah, the bum of it right through there.
Yeah.
Yeah, she ran over there, was just standing there, and she would have stood there for like 10 or 15 seconds, and I was like, oh, hang on a minute. And I was like, what have you done, Nato?
Where's the steak going?
And she was looking around, and then she just fell over.
Okay, mate.
Big Howard.
It's a lovely looking animal.
It's old.
Shit, yes. Yeah, look at the ear on it,
Yeah.
Mate.
Beautiful skin.
Lovely animal, man. They're solid, eh?
Yeah, she's big.
Pretty, man. Kangaroo ears, man. Look at the colour of them. Hey,
Yeah.
so freaking pretty.
I did forget to mention that while I was in the tree, Howard did one of them missions and deliberately did a big walk down in front of me here, and the wind was pumping up this way. So Howard may very well have sent this animal right to me.
Good chance it was, because I did hear one run, see? So.
What about next time it's your turn? I'll do the and you sit still with the 44, mate.
And give the trigger a bit of a tug.
Yeah, touch that trigger, mate.
It's good being old, eh? Because I get to do this again.
Howard can.
Yet again.
I'm getting right into doing skin, so I haven't been my little 5-minute skin job. Not doing it on this one because I'm going to keep the skin. Simon's taught me how to cure skins, so I feel like I'm wasting them if I don't take the skins now.
Another one with an arrow hole in it, Nato.
Yeah. It's definitely a tree hugger one, this one.
Tree hugging venison.
Well, the shots from top to bottom.
Definitely. Hanging on the tree to cool it down. Wicked.
Just don't want to get any rubbish on it.
No.
Might be a bit rank for you, but Howard's just checking out the organs to make sure it's all fit and healthy.
All the glands running around the gut bag there, eh? Just looking for different colours, and everything looks lovely, eh?
Healthy as, Howard?
Yeah, 100%. Liver looks awesome, eh?
Yeah, liver and heart's coming home.
Yeah. Nothing, no alarm bells. I think most.
Oh, I'm lucky I didn't break her back, Howard.
Yeah.
It's gone through
Freaking
just
close,
there.
Man.
It's gone through just there. It's cracked, cut through that finger bone down there, gone through those broken one rib, and then come out there.
Cut the lungs, put a hole clean through the lungs.
I impressed Howard with my tree hugging gear. He's like, that's the first time I've ever seen tree hugging gear come in handy. Animals all sorted, just opened up the top side, leave it in hanging in the side to cool down, have something to eat is normally our ritual. Howard's just over there sorting out his half. Ooh, thank you very much, Leanne.
You can send that to us, eh?
That'll be in my video, man.
I'll show it tonight.
She'll have to watch the next hunting video.
Cool.
That right there is the Bolar Triangle. Bowl roast. Stick an arrow or bullet in that. It's game over pretty quick. From now forward, I aim to release a hunting video on the 20th of every month, and that will be the good, the bad, the ugly, and the awesome of my hunting for the previous month all rolled into one video. This kind of style of things, me telling a story to my phone and then backing it up with the footage that I've accumulated. So to get that ball rolling and put my money where my mouth is, I've got a bunch of footage from a few previous hunts, my month's worth of hunting, tell you a story right now and back it up, starting with an invite to go stay at an awesome hut. I got an invite from a group of good buggers to go stay with them in a hut, and that hut granted access into the Uaweras, and in the Uaweras, and in this particular part of the Uaweras, there were Rusa deer. Now, Rusa deer is a deer that I've wanted to chase for a very, very long time, and I think the main reason that I wanted to go chasing Rusa deer is because of all the stories that I've heard of just how elusive they are and how hard they are to find, and especially the big mature stags. Let the games begin. All my wet sweaty clothes are off. Warm dry clothes are on. The saddle that I was at last time, that had all the sign in it, it's 200 meters this way. It sort of flattens out a bit now, it's not so steep. So from here, for as long as I can stomach it, I'm just gonna be dawdling around, try and get on some sign, and yeah, basically just dawdle around and hope that I run into a deer. Big stag is definitely the dream, but right now just to see a Rusa stag would be awesome. So yeah, bring it on. Bird song's pretty cool in here. Looks like a big stag shit to me. It was super cool to be in new country and so much fun to be chasing Rusa, which is a whole new deer species for me. But I am now 4 days deep at trying to get a Rusa, and I am yet to even see one. I did spook an animal, but I don't know what it was, but I am super keen to get back in there and give it another go. So that ends that one. I also got an invite from a young man, Brax, who I met at the Seeker show last year. Brax invited me up to stay with him and his dad Ryan, and then the next day we were going to head into Wood Hill Forest. Now, Wood Hill Forest is a place that I've wanted to go hunting, heard a lot of good things about it, but it is a ballot hunt situation and it's a bit of a rigmarole to get a ballot and get in there and go hunting. So I haven't gone to the trouble, if you know what I mean, and getting an invite from Brax, I just jumped at it and yeah, went and hung out with Brax in Wood Hill Forest for the day. It was awesome fun. We seen some fallow deer. I wasn't good enough to get in bow range or even good enough to get any footage of a fallow deer, but again, there is now a tick in the box beside go hunting for the day in Wood Hill Forest. And to Brax, you little legend, Chur, my brother, I really appreciate the invite, and it was an awesome day hanging out with you in the bush. So yeah, super cool, my man. Next on the list, Howard found some pigs. And Howard told me right where he seen them, so I headed in there the very next day, the day after Howard seen them, hoping they were in that general area still, and they were in the exact same spot that Howard had seen them. Wild pork bacon. There's like 5 pigs there, but they're standing on private land, and the fence right here is the boundary between the private and the public. But just over here I can see a spot just there. There's a spot just there where they're going underneath the fence, I reckon. So if I stand here and wait, hopefully they'll come back onto the public. Well, that was a bit of fun. Those pigs were never going to come back into the bush. They were happy as feeding, so I started making pig noises, and the sow came looking for me, and I made, I think, one noise too many, and she pinpointed me and then just ran downwind and come into the bush. I reckon she got the wind got my wind off my pack and then actually bolted towards me because I'd left my pack here when I'd seen them. But yeah, anyway, bit of fun. Full draw on a good sow after watching them for like an hour. Moving on. That is all I have for you on this one. Chur, my brothers and sisters, thank you all so very much for watching the Bolar Triangle. I will see you all again on the 20th of next month.